What's going on, guys? One, love out to everybody. Quick review here, guys. UFC Fight Night, Vera versus Sandhagen. Before I get started, hit that thumbs up button, guys. At least give me at least 20 thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button or more, right? And also subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. Alright. Also check out my Patreon account for all the face-off predictions and prop plays. You can also donate to my PayPal account to help out this channel so I can do this more consistently. I've been keeping consistent. I'm trying to mix up a little bit here, give you guys a little bit of review and how I felt about the fights and also what I did wrong in the fight. So if I miss 2-1, I'm going to talk about that one person and I'll talk about the other guys too. And I went 8-2 on this card, so I didn't do too bad, right? We lost a fight here against I guess I took him off the card here. Cape, Manuel Cape and Alex Perez fight. I guess Perez had a medical issue, and when I saw him on the scale, even on the face-off, he didn't look healthy. And when I look at, he looked kind of drained out. Had a lot of black marks under his eyes. He just didn't look. His eyes were kind of swollen, like puffy underneath the eyelid. Like he didn't get no sleep or his body's missing something. So he just didn't look healthy to me. I saw that. When it comes to my predictions here, guys, I do the Patreon account there and it has my face-up predictions, it has all the prop plays and everything like that. Do I consider my originals or do I consider my Patreon account face-up predictions to be more accurate? Like which one is more accurate? Or which one is more consistent for winnings? It kind of depends. Some people say that my Patreon and like my face-offs and my Patreon accounts, those are more accurate and a more consistent basis. So meaning that if it was a 10 fight card, I would more put more numbers up on the Patreon. So I could be like 8-2 on Patreon. But from my perspective, from how I feel about this, I think it could be even. Because there's sometimes when I look at the face-offs, I'm kind of like, because remember my originals is all the work I put in, so there shouldn't be so much switching to do or changes on the face-off, but sometimes there is. Just just depends on the guy, how the guy emotion is. If he's angry, is he just doesn't look like he's into the fight. You can tell on the face, you can tell by his mannerisms, the eyes, just the body language. You can read that, right? So like I saw with Alex, he just didn't look healthy. With Alex Perez, he didn't look healthy to me, right? He looks like he was maybe dehydrated, probably. He just didn't look good. So there shouldn't be too much changes from my originals, because originals is where I go and do all my research. I go on Instagram, I look up, past fights and, and I read up on stats and everything. So all the work is already put in. So on face-offs, I'm just looking more for body language. Height and reach are to figure it out, but you can tell also by the face-offs, that the reach and how much more bigger the guy is. But again, that has to be broken down on, the guy could be a bigger dude and look more mass or whatever, but that doesn't mean that he could beat the guy that's kind of smaller, because it's all on a skill set too. But no, if the smaller guy is not that skilled, then it's different, and then the bigger guy is more of a skilled guy, then okay. But if the little guy is skilled and the big guy is just okay but he's skilled too, either guy could win. Mass does play a factor. Don't get me wrong, it does play a factor, but it also depends on the person's skill set. Comes always down to your skill set, to that basics, to that fundamentals, right? So to me it's kind of even, and but some people say that the patrons, that my predictions are is more accurate, that when I make the changes. Like on this card here, my Patreon, I went 6-4 because those two changes I did, it actually turned out differently. So my originals were good. I only went 8-2. So let's take a look here. Vera and Cory, that's exactly what this is how I thought the fight would end up, but a split decision, that is crazy. How did Vera I mean, how did Cory get a split decision on that fight? So you tell me that Vera could have won this fight? Holy crap. Don't know what those judges are watching, dude. I have Cory every single round. All 5 rounds, I had Cory winning that. Vera probably landed 1 or 2 heavy shots, but that shouldn't win in the round. It's just more consistency. It's more volume. And it's not like he was just throwing air punches. His shots were landing. The jab, the kicks, everything was connecting. He was basically touching him up. He was just touching him. He's touching him. He was building up points. And you can even the stats. Like even the stats, you could tell in the volume of punches thrown and takedowns and so forth. And even, dude, even had takedowns in the fight. He's not like he wasn't only striking him. He had I believe he had 4 takedowns. Vera had 0, and on top of that, he outstruck him. The number of strikes landed, and also thrown. He massively. I believe he almost doubled him. The fight could have been a blowout. The fight is a blowout. I mean, like I said, I'm not here to disrespect anybody. I'm just speaking the truth, right? I mean, Marlon Vera is a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but stylistically, is the matchup. And stylistically, Cory is similar to a Dominic Cruz, if you want to say. But no, difference between Cory and Dominic Cruz, Cory is taller, got more reach, so that makes it a different fight. Length and height and reach makes a different fight when the guy is skilled. Let me just correct that. So the guy could be tall and long and have everything, and if he ain't skilled, then Marlon will walk through him. Because then reach and height, you don't know how to use it. But Cory knows how to use it. So that gave him an advantage there. And the guy is his footwork. Like I always talk about movement, guys. And sometimes I make a mistake sometime in 1 or 2 fights where I should have known better than that. But it happens, man. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be too hard on yourself. But the movement of Cory, you know, everything is based on movement. And if the fight starts and everything is based on movement, and one particular guy is good at moving, Cory is pretty good on his footwork, man. He's good on his footwork. His laterals, his entering, his exiting is pretty good, man. He knows how to cut you off. He knows where you're at to land the techniques. He's pretty much precise with the striking. The guy is good, man. So you have one guy who's moving with his feet. So he's moving consistently, as well as throwing combinations, which is accurate. Versus a guy that's flat, like he's not moving. If he moves, it's just 1-2, but there is no bounce in his feet. Cory is bouncing and in motion all the time. Marlon is just there, like just. It's like he's not in the fight. It's like he wants Cory to be in front of him, and just stay there like phone booth so he can hit him, and hit him with a combination. It's not going to happen though because Cory doesn't fight that way. He wants Cory to like stop for a second so he can counter him or set him up with a head kick like what he did to Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz stopped. If you notice in that fight, Cruz was moving, and after he stopped and stayed steady, then I think he was trying to reset. He was trying to reset himself. So when he stopped for a minute. Then Marlon I know what he's going to do. He's going to dip. He's going to go dip to his right. So he timed him. That stop he did there and pause and stay right in front of him. That's what caused him to fight. Because he's trying to reset in the middle. He's trying to reset in front of him, in striking range of Marlon Vera. Cory doesn't do that. Cory is on his toes, moving in his back, his side, but he always has a bounce to him. He always has a bounce to him. You know what I'm saying? And if he does stop, it's not to like for like a long time. It's just there to like counter or something like that, or to catch you coming in. But yeah. So I mean, good performance by both guys, but this is nowhere a split decision. No, this is ridiculous. This is unanimous. This is a blowout. It's unanimous decision by Cory, man. Holm and SANTOS, pretty much exactly what I said. And I told you that Holm going to push a more of a heavy grappling. And these two fights here I got by decision, so I got those both right. I got the outcome, the prop right also. So those two I got right there. And by a decision, right? Yep, got both of that by decision, right? So that's exactly that I said. Holm is going to push more of a heavy grappling takedown, and she's going to look for submission because her striking, like I said, it's not the same anymore. You know, she wasn't the quickest person back in the days, but she was technical with it, and she would set it up. No, if she wasn't as fast like back in the days, you know, no, she slowed down a lot more. So, like I said, her speed and time, and in this fight, she looks pretty decent in this fight. You know, I mean, she was moving in and out, she landed the technique, she was trying to set up combinations from the outside, but she's pushing more heavy grappling game. So, good performance by both guys here. Huh? Nate Landwehr and Austin Lingo. Yeah, man, there's coming on just a more experienced guy here. That's basically it. In the beginning, Nate was trying to find his footing there, and Austin was hitting him a couple of punches, but just trying to feel him out, trying to get his range, distance right. But good performance there, huh? This fight here, this is the fight that I switched on my Patreon account, and this is the next one here, man. I mean, I had Maycee Barber winning originally because it's just the toughness, the grindiness, the grittiness, but I don't feel like she won this fight, though, dude. I mean, it's a split decision. I don't feel she won this fight, but like I said, no, you just never know when it goes to judges, man. You can't leave these fights in the hands of the judges. When you do that, then this happen. And I think with Angela Lee, they tend to not really favor her too much when it comes to decisions. They don't favor her too much. Every split decision, she loses. You notice that, right? That's why it's difficult to in a lot of fights, it's difficult to pick her to win because they just don't favor her. She always pulled fights close, but this one I don't think it was that close. But again, goes to judges, they can do whatever they want, man. So, but I had Barber winning originally, so I had her winning by decision. So yeah, no, actually I had her winning by KO TKO. So, which there was points of the fight which is pushing it hard, but it is what it is, though, man. Albert, Rav, and Chidi. Yeah, guys, the next one here, man. In a kind of way, this fight is kind of... Problem about this fight, man, is that they wanted Chidi to finish this guy, to knock out Albert, right? They wanted him to finish the fight. So the fact that he couldn't finish him, it just doesn't look good, because he has a reach, the height, which Albert, he's looking for the takedowns, which he got the takedowns, but Albert was striking him at range after a while. Was hitting him with some, she was moving and hitting him, and Chidi just couldn't get off. He's looking to counter, man, and he couldn't get off, and he got taken down in the first round, and then, like I said, if he doesn't do nothing in the second round, if he can't finish you in the first, second round, third round, he could lose the fight. I think I did mention that. Because he's just a guy that's not a long distance fighter like that. He's more of a technician. Finish the fight quickly. He can't really carry a pace. And Albert is known for carrying pace because he's Greco-Roman. You got the wrestling. You know what I mean? And yeah, just at that point, Chidi was getting outstruck because he was worried about getting taken on. Albert pushed the wrestling hard in the first round. Then after that, Chidi just was like his whole distancing timing was off. He knocked his timing and distancing off, his range off. So Chidi was like hesitant to throw anything anymore because he didn't want to get taken down. So this is a fight where, did I know this? Yeah, I knew that Albert could have had a chance to win, but just by all the footage I see with Albert, it's just like, man, I don't know. He could get knocked out. He's been knocked out a couple of times. I believe like four times. But Chidi, if he can't get the knockout, then he could lose. So that's basically what happened. Yeah, man, this one's there's no really no answer for this one. I mean, because either guy could have won. It's a split decision. So either guy could have won this one. I mean, Albert is not a bad fighter, right? So, and and Chidi is pretty good too. But more good in the striking. And his ground game got better, but it's a tough one to leave it in the hand of the judges. They're expecting Chidi to step up in this fight because they like Chidi, and they want him to step up. They want him to finish Albert, knock him out or whatever, or get him out quickly, and he didn't do that. So it doesn't look good, and they wanted to do something similar to what Joaquin Buckley did, put on that kind of aggressive fight. which, you know, Chidi been finishing people, so that's what they expect. If you can't give that every single time or close to that, they end up losing the fight, and that's what happened here. So it's a tough one. Daniel Puda on Tucker, like I said, guys, I called that one perfectly. I said submission in the first, but it happened in the second. No, yeah, but it happened in the second. Like what I said, you know, exactly what I saw. I brought on this fight perfectly, and all the footage that I watched of Daniel and Tucker, exactly the breakdown was exactly. One thing that the submission was earlier, but it's just the experience. Tucker is not a I mean, I'm not disrespecting these guys, man. I'm just saying, you know, Tucker is not a prospect like that. He can win some fights, but he's not a prospect. You know what I'm saying? Daniel is too well-rounded. He's too experienced and faced way tough competition than what Tucker could ever face. And he beat them and submit them. Was he on juice? Maybe, yeah. I don't know. You know, probably, but you know, I don't think he's on juice now, or maybe he is. You know, a lot of these guys, man. Just be honest, a lot of these fighters are on something. Just that they're not testing for that specific substance. You know what I mean? And some of them are not. It just all depends. You know, and they have stuff out there you can take to that's not like, you know, so potent and just doesn't show up. Happens, man. You know, it's entertainment. It's you know, so a lot of these guys are gonna use stuff and then cycle out. Do I agree with it? No, because I believe in naturalness. So I don't put nothing in my body, no drugs, no alcohol in my body, man. Everything is natural from the earth, man. So yeah, like I called it, guys. Daniel, I was just, when I broke everything and I saw how Tucker looked against Pat Sabatini, I'm like, hell no. Like, Sabatini and Daniel are kind of similar in skill set. You know what I mean? And I feel Daniel is just more experienced too than Pat Sabatini. So I'm thinking, like, you know, how is Tucker gonna beat that guy? No, he's like, unless I'm not a lucky punch. You know, there's other puncher's chance, but I'm like, nah. And the underdog was massive. I mean, Daniel was what? Daniel was a big underdog in this. He was Daniel was like plus something, plus 200 and something. It was a big underdog. It was plus 190, but I think it was like at the end it was like 200 or something. Yeah, it was a big underdog. Yeah, so that's just one of those fights where, you know, the breakdown was just perfect for me. I saw everything that I needed to see. I felt it, and I was like, oh man, you know, the Tucker, and I saw Tucker was too much. He was too massive of a odd, you know. So I mentioned that. So that's a big fight right there. This fight here, Lucas Alexander and Steven Peterson. Mistake I made in this fight, guys, and I'm going to explain to the mistake I made. I got Peterson winning, but this is the mistake I made. And when I talk about these fights, it's not a disrespect to any of the guys, right? I'm not here to bash anybody and be negative. I'm just speaking off of like experience and doing my homework, right? And you can tell the majority of the fights are calling them right. It's not like I'm just guessing. You can't. I mean, you can guess a guy to win, but I'm telling you who's gonna win. And when the fight plays out, it happens exactly how I break it down, and the finish is exactly how I say it's gonna be finished. You know what I mean? I'm doing this for a long time. I know about the fight game, man. I know about movement. And yeah, basically movement, because everything is off your movement. And I know about combat, you know, hand to hand, grappling, and all that stuff. So I have a vision for it. I can see it. I can predict these things, and a lot more. What I went wrong with Lucas here and Steven is that Lucas is an aggressive guy. He's a skilled, aggressive guy, and his technique is sharp, and he's athletic. Right, that's the thing. He's athletic, and his movement is not bad, right? But I feel like there's holes, and depending on who is fighting, those holes can get, you know, exposed. Like when he fought Britain or Brito, you know, Brito is, you know, is more technical. He's not more like technical guy, but he's more skilled, right? And he's athletic too, and he has those attributes, right? So that's why he got the rear naked choke, right? And then the other guys that submit him possibly were, just early in his career. So this guy here, yeah, he may lose a fight like anybody else, but it just depends on the person he's fighting. No, it doesn't matter if the guy's just experienced. Is the guy athletic? Is the guy, how's his movement? Is he light on his feet? Is he able to get to his opponent quickly and get out? How is his timing? How's his takedowns? You see, it's like with Peterson, yeah, he can take you down, but I mean, a guy like Lucas may give him problems because of the athleticism and also the movement, right? Peterson's striking is not on the level of Lucas, and I did say that. You know what I'm saying? So there's more from Lucas. There's more standout for Lucas than it does to stand out for Peterson. The skill level here, Lucas has more. Even though he's lacking the ground, I feel like Lucas, he can make up for that by just being athletic and striking is on point. And Peterson takedown wrestling is not like it's not on any elite level. I mean, just to be honest, he can get the submission, but it all depends on who he's getting the submission against. You know what I mean? So if it's like, particular fighters that are, that can't move like how Lucas move, not athletic like that, then okay. And I say he can't get it against an athletic guy, but it's Lucas just has more. He has more to offer. In his skill set, even though it's slightly lacking the ground game because of his athleticism, and he has good striking and his timing and his reach also, his height and reach. So yeah, that is where I went wrong there, and I did see that, and also Peterson, the IQ, his fight IQ, it's not the best. You understand? So he may be a guy, or he's a guy that's going to come forward and just probably do the same thing over and over again, which he did. You know what I mean? Lucas is going to be in and out. He's going to be stuffing takedowns because he's so athletic. He's a quicker guy there. He's longer reach. Steven Peterson is experienced, and if he jumps on Lucas' back, he could submit him. But the chances of Peterson doing that is going to be low. Unless Lucas is not a good striker and doesn't move like that. You understand? The striking of Lucas just erases everything that Peterson has because it stands out more. It stands out to be more elite. That's basically it. You see, Lucas' skill set and his basics and fundamentals are more elite. Steven Peterson, his basics and his fundamentals don't really needs work still. You know what I mean? He's too flat-footed. He's reaching. He's open. You know what I mean? Timing. It's just a lot of things. It's just how he moves his opponent, having trouble cutting them off. Just a ton of things, man. So Lucas' skill set is just just more of elite skill set, even though it's lacking. All right, so yeah, so that's basically it there, guys. I think that's it right there. And I had this fight by I had Steven Peterson winning. So Trevin Giles and Preston, exactly what I thought it would be. I had guys winning by decision, exactly how I said it would be. I saw that, and that's Giles won off experience. Believe me, because Preston had him in some problems, man. Where I was like, oh man, Giles gonna drop the ball now. Cause remember I told you, Giles gonna always drop. I said Giles always drop the ball. But when he's on his own, though, he was on tonight. He was definitely on tonight, and that was experience that won him that fight. Because it seems like he was in bad positions. He was ground and pounded. It was like I think there was a time when he was mounted. All type of positions. He was in bad positions, but the jab from him is what got him, that win him this fight. It's the jab, the movement, and the experience, footwork, his timing. He just basically broke down Parson. He just broke him down, touched him up, touch him. It's pretty similar to what Cory Sandhagen did. Just touch him. By the time you reach second, third round, your whole eye is swollen. Which that's what happened. His eye was almost shut. And then you took a beat and you take a lot of jabs to the face. That will affect you. You get jabbed to the nose. Ooh. That knocks everything off, man. And, I mean, just getting hit to the face consistently. Your brain is rattling each time. Your perception, you know, your timing, your also your confidence is going to be off. So, but that's exactly what I saw. Trevin Giles all the way there. CJ, Vergara, and Daniel Silva. This was pretty close, man. It was a good combat though. And the thing about this fight is that what did I say about this one? CJ what? CJ second round KO TKO. That's exactly what happened. So I gave you guys a prop exactly for that, and CJ winning. CJ won off of heart, experience, and determination. That's it. He had more experience and the will not to break. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Silva, he breaks under pressure. If he can't finish the fight, he can't get you out there quick, he fades. Also conditioning also plays a factor. Having endurance. Because Daniel Silva also gasses, and even CJ said it himself after this. Himself when the fight over, he said, "Yeah, this guy, he gasses out. Like he can't go no more than one round, maybe 1.5 into the second, then he loses." So I had that fight exactly. Hopefully Daniel Silva is okay. Hopefully he keeps on fighting. There's enough respect to all these fighters out there. I'm just breaking down the fights how I see it, and I guess if I'm telling you how the guy gonna win. Even though in the first round he almost lost, I told you that Daniel Silva is a good fighter, and if he can get you in that first, he got you, which he almost got CJ. Because his striking and his grappling is good, it's on point, just that he can't carry a pace. He's kind of similar to Chidi. They were like guys that come in there and just burst, bam, just out the gate quick, like a sprinter. And you know what happened to sprinters? You put them in marathon running, this just may not work as well, because different kind of training, So it's the same thing with Daniel Silva and Chidi, the sprint, come out there quick out the gate. You take them to second, third, they gas out, So which one is better, a guy that knock you out quick or a guy that's going to pace? And then it just depends, man. You can do both. You can train to be both of that. You know what I'm saying? Both have his advantages. You know what I mean? Finish a fight quickly is great. Finish a fight later on is also good if you know you can't manage a gas tank, but you know that a guy's gonna gas. It's just like a chess match, man. It's a very technical thing. To analyze it, break it down. I'm just gonna say I got the win. The win is there, and the outcome exactly. Victor and Salvador, exactly. This fight, exactly. So I gave you all a couple fights here straight in a row with the prop. Exactly how the guy went in and exactly how he win, right? Exactly the outcome. Victor and Salvador, exactly what I saw. I saw this exactly. Salvador come in there and will start throwing, and he's going to be missing. And Victor's a more technical guy with what? The footwork and movement. His taekwondo background. When guys are flat and just swinging against a guy who is skilled now. Remember, it all depends on the practitioner now. Victor is a pretty skilled dude. So he's not a guy that's going to just stand there and just get hit in the head and fall down. If you punch at him, he may step back. He may go laterally. He may counter you. Then he may go back out. Then he may circle around. Then he may touch you up, bam, 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 and then come back out again. So he's not a guy that's going to sit there and just throw punches and then he's going to be there to get hit. That's the problem. If the other guy fights that way, most of the time, the guy that's flat like that is going to end up losing. But like I said, it all depends on the practitioner though that you're fighting. Because if the guy has some kind of movement, but then he doesn't understand distancing and timing, and like even though you have movement, your distance and timing could just be off. Like he doesn't use his reach properly. Then again, also he's striking. His defense is not good. He can get hit. He can get hurt, and you can tell this by how the guy moves, man, and how he where he's put his chin at, and how quick he moves in and out, how sharp his technique is, his form of his technique. You can tell because there's guys who good movement, and I don't pick them to win, and they actually lose because their chin is high. Like that last card there with the guy from England. Remember I told you, and the guy came in there and blitzed him. He was on the last card. It wasn't that last card there. The guy just came in and blitzed him, man. I forgot it. Oh man, What am I doing here? Let me see. What am I doing, man? Let me see. Was in that last card there? Now I feel like I have to tell you now. Oh man. It was on that last card. Last card of breakdown there. Let me see. Okay, yeah, here we go. It was Peterson and Aspinall. Peterson and Aspinall. You guys remember that fight? I had that fight exactly. First round KO TKO. What am I doing? I can look back at my. I can look back at here, guys. Duh. All right, here we go. So it was Edwards fights here, and I had it exactly. That guy that was fighting, that guy from England, he had movement, or he can move, but his movement wasn't as sharp. But he has movement, right? But it turns out he doesn't know how to use his reach, and he doesn't know his defense was just not good. So it was it was Asmov, that's it. And Asmov was the guy that wrestles with the heavy hands, and he came over the top. So it just all depends on the fight, man. So that's about it there, guys. That's about it right there. Yeah, so pretty much did good on this card. My mistakes I made on those two fights is just pretty much, one was split decision, and then the other one was, I saw where I went wrong on that one. Just all on athleticism and the movement from the start. And the guy can move against the other guy like Peterson, who doesn't really have that foot movement. You know what I'm saying? And then Alexander can strike. That's a huge thing. He can strike. Ground game may not be that great, but it seems like he's improving. And Peterson, Tate on defense is not that great. But if he gets on the ground, he could lock up a submission, depending on the fighter. Depending on the fighter's skill set. Are they really good in one department? Exactly. Lucas is good in one. He's really good in one department. So that's it right there, guys. Subscribe to this channel, like I always say. Hit the thumbs up button. Let's get these videos out. I need some more subscription here, guys. Hit the thumbs up. I need at least, I said 25, 50 more subscription. You can donate to my PayPal. Hit me up on the Patreon. Sign up to that. I'll be putting up more prop plays in there. The face-off predictions. Also with the face-off predictions there, guys. Like I said, when I'm looking to make a change, I'm gonna make the changes based mostly on how I feel and what I see. Like from the the person standoff, like the emotions. Are they angry? Because most of it is going to be on your emotions. You know what I'm saying? How are you afraid? Fear? Do I see fear? Do I see anger by pushing or hitting in the throat, or certain things a fighter may do? It will show that they're coming to this fight angry, fear, like a lot of like they're afraid. I mean, it happens, even though fear is an illusion, but we tend to fall into it. So I'm gonna more look at that, analyze that more, because on my originals I already put in the work already. So, and because that's how I usually figure out from the face-offs if I want to make a switch, is mostly off the emotions. So it's mostly on what I feel from the scene that I can tell, right? It's never always much about the reach and the build of the guy. It's just basically mostly off the emotions. So if a fighter can compose himself and control the emotion, then most likely they win the fight, because they're not going to panic. They're not going to they're not going to take it lightly, but they're not going to blow their gas tank and get tired. Because most of the time the guys just getting gassed out because they just can't control the emotion, they can't control the breathing. So that's most of it they're going to do there. And also the guy makes weight. Is just going back to the same thing. Emotions. Does the guy look? Also your health has which plays a factor, which is the emotion part also. But how was the weight cut? Did you make weight? Do you look like drained and sucked up? Like you just under your eyes are black. You just don't look healthy on the scale. That can play a huge factor too, right? So mostly on the health, emotion part of it. But as far as the guy's skill and all these things that I've done in the original, I can't really change that, because I already know the guy's a skilled guy. You understand what I'm saying? But if he doesn't make weight and he doesn't look good and he's looks like he's over aggressive on the weigh-ins and face off, is like pushing and carrying on like a maniac, like then I'm thinking like, oh man, this guy is losing the fight already. He lost the fight. He doesn't know how to control himself. And an uncontrolled fighter, man, a person that's super emotional. This goes for anything, man. This goes for just regular life, just your journey in life. If you're super emotional and you can't get it under control, you lose everything. You end up losing yourself too, which is the number one thing to lose. Because anything that somebody say to you or do to you, you're gonna get super emotional to where you may do things to that person, or just getting angry. So the anger and the fear and all these things, those are the things that get people in problem, which is the ego. Once you get that ego under check, everything becomes easier. Believe me, it's basically a game, you know. So once you get that ego under check, control the emotions, which is all in the ego, you're unstoppable. That is when you're dangerous. That's when you're unstoppable. You know, he's not the guy that, oh man, I'll kill you, man, I'll kill you. That guy is that guy is giving away everything he got. He's giving away his whole life story. Maybe from when he was a young kid, something happened to him. Maybe he was bullied, I don't know. Maybe he was abused, and it happens. He's telling you everything about him in that moment, in that present moment. So I already read you already. Oh, I already got you already. If you're yelling at me and carrying on like that, I'm just like, oh man, okay, no problem. I'm just gonna do this here, and that's it. You know, it is no problem. Just one love, man, one love. Ah man, I kill you, man. I'm like, okay, man, one love, man, one love. No problem, no problem, no problem. Everything gonna be alright, man. Don't worry about a thing. You know what I mean? So that is when you know that, yo, this guy here got some demons. He's holding on to things and struggling with stuff. You know, a lot of internal. That will make you lose everything. If you're fighting, playing, whatever you're doing, your basketball, your whole, you know, just your personal life, same thing. It goes into everything, man. You gotta have that checked, have that under control, and to a point where it becomes natural. So that's it there, right there, guys. One love to everybody. Keep on kicking. Subscribe, Patreon. I want to say enough respect to all of the donations I've been getting. I'm grateful. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. Let's keep this ball rolling. I'm gonna try to put up more videos here. I may even do some lives. I don't know yet. I'll see how it works. I'm trying to stay more consistent with doing these videos, and also do other things on the side too to add on to it to make it more interesting. You know what I mean? So that's it, guys. One love. Os.